Bombs drop. Oil spikes. The president threatens to level an entire civilization. And while everyone's glued to the war, something different is quietly being decided. Something about your money. Right now, recently passed legislation is moving through Congress. And if it's implemented as written, every Apple Wallet, every Amazon account, PayPal, eBay, and most other popular payment apps you use become hidden storage units for US government debt. Your dollars. Quietly enrolled, no announcement, no opt-in. The war isn't just a war, it's the cover story. And once you understand the plan and how close they are to pulling it off, you'll appreciate the specific moves people are already making to keep their money outside of it. Every crisis in modern history has had a twin. The headline you see, and the policy change that slips through while everyone's watching the event. In 2008, the headline was the subprime collapse. But behind the scenes, the Federal Reserve invented quantitative easing. They bought trillions in assets and bailed out the banks. Nobody voted for it, nobody debated it, it just happened. In 2020, while the world was locked down, a new policy window opened. This wasn't just about public health, it was about a systemic overhaul. Financial architects began calling for a total reimagining of global commerce, a shift toward programmable digital assets and centralized oversight, using the temporary emergency to install permanent economic controls. The crisis is always real. The opportunity is always waiting. So here's the question worth asking right now. While bombs are dropping and oil is spiking, what's the opportunity this time? While everyone is watching the war, there's a chart that tells you what's actually happening in the global economy. Not the news. The chart. It tracks total tanker transit calls through the Strait of Hormuz, the single most important oil choke point on the planet. 20 million barrels of oil move through it every day. That number is still down. Significantly. Some economists believe that if the strait stays closed for another 2 to 3 weeks, it won't matter if the war ends. The chain reaction will already be in motion. That chain reaction starts with oil. Brent crude hits 110, 120, maybe higher. Every country that imports oil, which is most of them, suddenly pays 40% more for the energy that runs their economy. That cost doesn't stay at the pump. It spreads into the price of everything made with that energy, which is pretty much everything. Here's why this matters to you and your savings specifically. There's a number called the Net International Investment Position. It measures how much of American assets foreigners own versus how much of their assets we own. After the first Gulf War, foreigners owned about 7% of US GDP. After 2008, that number had grown to 15%. Today, it sits at 87%. Foreigners, Europe, Japan, China, Southeast Asia, own roughly 70 trillion in US dollar assets. 9.4 trillion of that is Treasury bonds alone. And those same regions are the most dependent on oil moving through the Strait of Hormuz. Their oil is priced in dollars. So when the strait closes and they need dollars fast, they sell what they have. US stocks, US bonds, Treasuries. That's already happening. Foreign central bank holdings of US Treasuries at the New York Fed just hit their lowest level since 2012. Tens of billions gone in 4 weeks. When countries sell Treasuries, yields go up. And when yields go up on $39 trillion of US debt, the cost of carrying that debt goes up with it. Economists have identified a specific threshold on the 10-year Treasury yield, between 4.6 and 4.8%. If yields hit that range, something called a debt death spiral begins. The more expensive it is to borrow, the bigger the deficit. Bigger deficits require more borrowing. More borrowing pushes yields higher. Higher yields make the debt more expensive. And at $39 trillion in total debt, that loop moves fast. Jerome Powell recently said publicly that US debt growth is unsustainable and will end badly. That's not a commentator, that's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. So the people running this economy know exactly what's coming. The question is which door they're going to choose. Door number 1, let yields rise. Let the market do what it wants. Treasuries sell off, yields spike to 5 or 6%, maybe higher. The stock market collapses because at that point, why take the risk when bonds are paying a guaranteed 6%? Tax revenues drop, deficits explode, recession. Door number 2, walk away from the war. just announce victory and leave. Over 50 years ago, the US negotiated an informal deal with Saudi Arabia for the Gulf country to only sell oil for dollars in exchange for US security assurances. Other Gulf nations followed suit. But if the US military can't reopen a major shipping lane, the world draws a conclusion. Countries start pricing their oil in something other than dollars. The dollar loses value. That's also inflationary. And there's a name for this. When Britain failed to hold the Suez Canal in 1956, the world concluded its power had peaked. Countries stopped deferring to London. The pound lost its reserve status within a decade. Economists are already calling this America's potential Suez moment, the point where the world stops assuming US dominance and starts making other arrangements. That brings us to door number 3, print money. The Federal Reserve steps in, buys treasuries, caps yields, quantitative easing. But here's the critical difference almost nobody explains. In 2008, the Fed did what economists call Type 1 QE. They bought toxic assets directly from banks. The money never left the banking system. Consumer prices barely moved. Most people didn't notice. In 2020, they did something different. Type 2 QE. They bought assets from pension funds, corporations, and regular institutions. Those sellers deposited the money into their bank accounts. New money flooded the broader economy, chasing the same supply of goods. 18 months later, inflation hit 9%. The economist who invented the term QE warned this would happen. Nobody listened. Option 3 will almost certainly be Type 2 QE again, which means the inflation that follows this oil shock could make 2021 look manageable. And here's where this goes from uncomfortable to something most people aren't ready to hear. The people closest to these decisions aren't just thinking about how to survive the next crisis, they're thinking about how to use it. The US has 2 overlapping problems: $39 trillion in debt growing faster than the economy, and AI, which is about to displace jobs at a scale we haven't seen since the Industrial Revolution. That may eventually require some form of universal income to keep people from falling through the floor. Both problems require large amounts of persistent government spending. Both problems need the same solution: a way to distribute government debt to everyone while keeping the ability to control how that money moves. That mechanism already exists. It's called a stablecoin, and Congress passed legislation called the Genius Act. Here's what the Genius Act requires. Any company that wants to issue a stablecoin, a dollar-pegged digital asset people can store and spend through their apps, must back it dollar for dollar with highly liquid, stable reserves like cash or US Treasuries. Since cash doesn't pay interest, issuers opt for treasuries. Let that sit for a second. Every Apple Pay balance, every Amazon digital wallet, every PayPal account, every eBay payment system. If they want to operate in the digital currency space, they need to buy US government debt. You use the app, they buy the treasury, you become an unknowing creditor to the United States government. No vote, no announcement, just a terms of service update you scroll past. This isn't theory, it's already been tested. A company called Tether, the largest stablecoin issuer in the world, currently holds over $135 billion in US treasuries. That makes them a bigger holder of US government debt than countries like Germany and South Korea. They were the proof of concept. On February 4th, before Congress, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed stablecoins could be an important feature of financing the US government. Now imagine the same structure, but with the brand recognition of Apple, the distribution of Amazon, the loyalty programs of every airline you've flown. You're not asking people in Argentina or Vietnam to trust some crypto company they've never heard of. You're asking them to trust the brands they already use every day. In exchange for that trust, they get rewards, discounts, maybe loyalty points. The government offloads its debt, and central planners get something they've never had before: programmable money. Scott Bessent said the Genius Act was important for regulation and creation of digital assets in the US and helping America assert control over the market. Tether has already frozen wallets dozens of times, sanctioned addresses, flagged accounts on regulatory request. It takes one line of code. Now scale that capability to a system where every major brand's digital wallet operates under US law, backed by US treasuries, governed by US regulation. The current global banking system, SWIFT, can cut entire countries off from international finance. Just ask Russia. That's the most powerful financial tool in existence. This new system could target individual accounts, anyone, anywhere, even in countries whose laws prohibit it, because the app is already on their phone. The terms were already agreed to. Your money would still technically be yours. It might just not work on certain days, or in certain stores, or if the algorithm flags something you bought or said. In China, a version of this already exists. Social scoring systems restrict what people can buy, where they can travel, which schools their children can attend. The difference is that system was built by a government and everyone could see it coming. This one is being built by brands you chose voluntarily, which makes it harder to refuse and harder to see coming. This isn't a conspiracy. The legislation is public. The test case is public. The clock is ticking. So what do you actually do with this? The people who understand what's being built are making the same moves. Not all at once, not dramatically, just deliberately. They're moving toward assets the system can't freeze. Physical gold held privately, not an ETF, not a fund. The metal itself. It doesn't require an app, a network, or a terms of service agreement. It can't be sanctioned with a line of code. It's been monetary collateral for thousands of years for exactly that reason. The same principle applies to Bitcoin held in self-custody. Not on an exchange, not in a corporate wallet, on a hardware wallet you control. The ETF version has counterparty risk, the self-custodied version doesn't. Beyond that, cash. Physical cash. The option to transact outside the digital grid entirely, not as your primary strategy, as a hedge against a system that increasingly requires your participation to function. None of these moves require you to be certain this plays out the way I'm describing. They just require you to acknowledge the direction is set, the legislation is moving, and the cost of being wrong about staying fully inside the system is higher than the cost of keeping some of what you own outside it. The war gave them the window, the legislation gives them the mechanism, the brands you already trust give them the distribution. The only question left is whether your money is inside that system or outside it before the window closes. Want to go deeper? Watch, is the US planning a $37 trillion crypto debt reset? It's on your screen. And if this changed how you think about what's happening right now, subscribe. We publish content several times a week breaking down the real signals in the economy so you can see what's coming before it arrives. Remember, this isn't personal financial advice. It's education so you can build your own plan. To help you, in addition to discounts on Seeking Alpha products, I've got my free Wealth Builders Blueprint and Zach's Confidential's investment research and stock picks with dual money-back guarantees down in the description. Check them out.